Perth Linux Users Group, talking Linux and open source.
Welcome to my talk on Emacs, Emacs for note-taking. I'm Benjamin Dunstan, and yeah, let's just start with the talk. It's kind of small. Let me see if I can here. Yeah. So this table of contents. Welcome. Who I am. Where start. So welcome to my talk, to my Emacs talk. And first of all, who is the presenter? Well, my name is that name's Benjamin Ignacio Dunstan Silva. Yeah, it's Latin American, so I have like 4 names. I'm currently working at Coplan, which is a software as a service for mining companies, mining and drilling companies. So they make this software, which is the performance and capturing data from drilling rigs, well, among other things related to mining. Okay, so what are we going to do in this talk? Like, just first, we're going to do a quick recap on the history of Emacs, which, as I already told you, is going to take us around like 10 to 12 minutes. And after that, we're going to go do a deep dive into Emacs configuration from scratch. We're going to first create the a literate config. We're going to see how we can do that, can set that up. After that, we're going to add some useful key bindings, which will help us to manage ourselves around Emacs better. And well, after that, obviously, we're going to see begin installing packages and everything that we need, because you can use Emacs as it is, but it's going to be kind of rough. So we need to set up some packages. And yeah, obviously with this literate config, we're going to be learning a little bit of org mode. And it's really cool. Yeah, let's do it. So first, we're going to start with the history of Emacs. And it's really cool because in some way, the history of Emacs is the history of text editors. And it all starts with the PDP-1. And this sort of like text editor, well, the name was Tico, and most of that text editor, it was a sort of like a punch paper editor. Yeah, well, Tico stands for the tape editor and corrector, and then it became the text editor and corrector. The text editor is very important because it's the program that allows us, that makes us able to write other programs. And at 1963 at MIT, Dan Murphy creates Tico for running on the PDP-1. After some years, in 1965, the Tico editor that was compatible with the PDP-6 brought visual editing. And I think it's really cool. At this point, the only medium to storage data for the PDP was PDP-1, PDP-6 was punch paper, and there was no hard disk, floppy disk, magnetic disk, or network as we know it to take, like get everything that we need for the text editors. Yeah, give me a second. Oh, sorry. After the PDP-6, in 1972, Tico was ported to the PDP-10 and had almost 400 macros. Well, the thing with Tico is that it was written with extensibility in mind. So people made their own little programs which helped them use the Tico in this case. And as people began developing their own set of programs, little programs, which were called macros, and by after some years in 1972, there were so many of these little useful macros that Tico almost had 400 of them. And yeah, some years after that, well, the story continued, and in 1976 there was another editor created called the E-editor, which implemented WYSIWYG editing. What you see is what you get. This editor was called the E-editor, and at this point, Richard Stallman starts appearing on the picture. He was taking vacations at the Stanford University, and he saw this E-editor, which implemented what you saw, what you type, what you see is what you get editing, and he decided to port it to Tico. When he returned to MIT, he realized there was a similar mode called Control R, I guess, but it only used 5 lines of the screen, which was not good enough. And so Stallman decided to add that feature to Tico, and also other types of feature like writing anywhere into the file and in a single buffer. But wait, give me a second. Adding these features to Tico, and also, knowing that Tico had a tons of macros, as you saw on the previous slide, there was like almost 400 macros that Tico had. People had their own sort of like versions, the different versions of Tico, of these like macro sets, and there was a set of macros, and they had their own names, such as TechMac, Tmax, RMac, Doc, and macros. And what happened was getting cluttered with all this set of macros, And Richard Stallman and Guy Steele, well, especially Guy Steele, call it Tower of Babel effect. Hackers on others hackers' terminals would spend long times figuring out which macros did what and other things. So everything had to come back to one editor. And that's when Guy Steele and Richard Stallman began working on Emacs, which is editor macros, which is just a set of macros that will become like this sort of like the standard for that time, which was 1976. Well, Emacs, which is editor macros, while obviously Mac come from macros, the reason for E in the time was simply chosen because ITS, which is the it's called the OS in which Tico ran. The OS is called the Incompatible Time Sharing System. Didn't have many programs starting with the E letter, so yeah, just a small, just a small thing. And sorry. So after Emacs was created, Emacs like editors began appearing, and this is a really crazy period because the Emacs behavior was so different from Tico that it was considered a text editor by its own right, and it quickly became the standard or on ITS. Yes. Some of the like ports and other Emacs like editors that were created one of them was EIN, which is following the tradition of these acronyms. EIN is not Emacs, and created in 1976. After that, we have Multics Emacs, written in maclibs in 1978. And which came after EIN, and yeah, Swain was EIN initially. And one of the, not the last one, but a really important one that came after these ones was Gosling Emacs, written in Mocklisp, in 1981. The original Emacs and Tico were able to run the PDP-10 computer, and in the 80s, some years before, a lot of Emacs implementations were developed. Yeah, this Gosling Emacs was very important because it was the first Emacs port that was done on the Unix, on Unix. So yeah, so it will become like sort of the first version, you know, of sort of like a proto Emacs of what we know today. And I want to show you guys, like, let me see, just a list of all sort of like the Emacs like editors and ports that were done on that time around the 80s. And yeah, it's really crazy. Let me see. Oh, why? I'm gonna take the web browser. Oh yeah. Here's the list. No, it's crazy. So we always have like the Emacs that were distributed with a price that was sold, and well, most of the implementations were available, as it says here, for no charge. But we can see like, yeah, sorry. Yeah. And well, the list goes on, and basically everyone has its like own version. And around this time, Richard Stallman was starting with the GNU project, and he sort of like put a line in the code of Emacs that everything that was contributed, so like, yep.
Scroll all the way through. I'm looking for
Okay.
micro Emacs.
Oh, there it is.
Which used to be Linus's Linus.
Oh, really? Oh yeah, Nihongo is like Japanese version. Okay. Okay, let me go back to the presentation. Yeah, no. So it was crazy, like trying to avoid this sort of like Tower of Babel effect that happened. A lot of Emacs implementations were created, and everyone had their own. But at least it was good in the sense that everything started from the base, which was this Emacs created by Richard Stallman and Guy Steele. Give me a second. Okay. Well, how did so after all these implementations, Richard Stallman started working on GNU Emacs, and because he got permission from what's the name? Was it like David Gosling? Jason Gosling. Yeah. He supposedly got a permission to. Sorry. Yeah, Richard Stallman took permission to reuse code of Gosling Emacs as it was freely distributed to those who helped. There was an email, but which said about this, permission for him to reuse the code. But so with that code and obviously most of his effort, he started the GNU project, and one of his first application, one of his first besides GNU was well, Emacs. And well, the GNU project starts and Emacs turns into GNU Emacs. But the thing that happened was that GNU Emacs had a percentage of the code of GNU Emacs was from Gosling Emacs, and after some years, Unipress started distributing Gosling Emacs and claimed that Stallman never received the unlimited redistribution promise. That means that Stallman has to cease distribution immediately. And yeah, Richard Stallman could not find the proof that he had the permission to use that code. So the new code had to be written for GNU Emacs, and one of the articles at /dot was that the last replaced piece of Gosling Emacs code saved by RMS was the serial terminal scrolling optimizer, and it was a few pages of Gosling code that had a skull and bones as comment, meaning that it was so difficult to understand, it was poison. Really, and researching a little about this Gosling Emacs, I came to found this image, this newspaper, you know, and yeah, so it's crazy because Emacs, in some way, was originally written by James Gosling, which is the founder of Java. I mean, not really, but in some way, and Press selling the binary and the source for Gosling Emacs for between 375 USD to 2,500 on that time, which today will be around 1,200 USD to 7,700. So yeah, that's like it's crazy. And this is an ad from Byte from the August 1994 edition. Yeah, it's pretty cool. For all the Emacs implementations, we can see a timeline. We can see these two websites, the Emacs timeline by Jamie Sawinski, which I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's the was the developer for X Emacs. One of the, well, after all these Emacs implementations, which I will like show you in a minute. The only two that lasted through time, and also a few others, were Emacs and X Emacs. And yeah, we can see here on the timeline. Let me click. Let me click on the other one because the one of them is out of date. So yeah, this could also work as a fast recap of the presentation, in that we see, you know, TechMac and Tmacs, Emacs, Ein, Zoe, CMacs, Multi-Emacs, and all the other that I've been mentioning. Yeah, but after this, we see that GNU Emacs was the only one who has been keeping through time, and also to some years, and other types of other text editors, Emacs-like text editors, can also appear in, have Epochs, Emacs, and well, the ones we already spoke before. Yeah, Lucid Emacs by Jamie Sawinski. A lot of the Emacs implementations was to do other Emacs implementations. Yeah, we have Mu. Gonna just do a quick X Emacs. It's really cool to watch this, see this Emacs timeline Emacs timeline in the Linux group, because I feel that a lot of you guys must have seen these let's call like Emacs editions appear and disappear, and maybe some of you have used some of them in some point in your life. Yeah, as I was telling you, X Emacs. Yeah. Well, oh, this is the the old version. Well, at the end, X Emacs was discontinued. I forgot which year, but the last update was some years ago. It was some time ago. So it isn't. I haven't like read much about it, but not that. But we haven't got any updates lately. Give me a second. Let me close this. Okay. 2009. Okay, so now that we have done a quick recap on the history and all the Emacs-like implementations, we gonna go straight into configuring our own Emacs from scratch. And for that, I'm going to change from the MacBook to my Linux laptop. So it's gonna take some 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah. Let's start. Sorry? I'm not sure. I think it's California. It's yeah, not California. Yeah, this is a Mac. Like it's one of the like wallpapers that comes with the latest version. It was called Sonoma, I think. Sonoma. Let me see. Going to big blue button. Okay. It should go back to the, let's see, allow screen. Oh yeah, how could I present it on the screen? I should put the, yeah, maybe just put the big blue button there. Yeah, I will like just, yes. I'm like already streaming my Linux, so yeah. Through the HDMI, maybe I could just put that full screen because it's just gonna be the Linux stream. Yeah, don't worry. Oh yeah, I think I'm already present.
Yeah, so try presenting the screen from
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. Is it working?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and I should here on the Mac maximize. There are maximize button somewhere.
There should be just a few little dots up to the top right of the screen present. Down a bit. Down further. There's a little.
Hey, man, it's so crisp. Linux. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, gonna just put some words there. So, well, the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna change the folder of my Emacs. I have it on config.emacs. I'm just gonna move to config. Let's move Emacs. I don't know. Let's go backup Emacs or something. Okay. So now, if I open it, yeah, it's gonna show us like. So when you install Emacs, something like this, I guess like for like nowadays you get so many text editors with bells and whistles and yeah, and you see Emacs and you think like, wow, what's this? But I tell you, like just a little bit of configuration will make it be really cool. Like, and well, to start with the Emacs configuration, one of the first files that Emacs loads, well, all the Emacs configuration is saved on .emacs.d. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Yeah, just move all this. In this folder, Emacs has already done some files. In this folder, everything that you install will be set up there. All your configuration will be inside that folder. But the thing is, you can also organize it a little bit and put it on. And what Emacs will search for is this file called init.el. And yeah, so in this case, I'm gonna remove the emacs.d. I'm gonna move to .config, gonna create the Emacs folder. And in this folder, I will set up init.el. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, no, don't worry. Yeah. Well, in init.el, the first configuration we're gonna do, and in the first configuration we're gonna do in every Emacs that we configure is setting up this init.el. And let me make this bigger. Yeah, this is like my notes. It's gonna be this. If it pastes it, oh, no YouTube. Yeah. This is gonna be our first step to our literary config in Emacs. Once that we set up this first, we can simply start Emacs. And yeah, you see it's gonna throw us this error. But we see that the folder is working because the error, give us this path. Oh yeah. Well, to make the what's called the command to make the Emacs text bigger, it's this one as I have it on my notes. It's mx text scale increase. In this case, a lot of the Emacs key bindings are written in this sort of way. you see CX, CF, CX, CS. The C stands for control, and the M will stand for meta, which is alt. So yeah, let's do make it bigger. Text. Once you write it, don't need to write it again. You can just press the up arrow, and it will make it. Yeah, you can also, if the error is take too much screen, you can scroll it down here. Okay, so yeah, let's start the config. We could do mx or metx, altx. Gonna do a find file, and we're gonna search. This is gonna be small, but just for now. Gonna make it bigger after. But in that small, finder there, I'm gonna put the path to .config Emacs and config.org. We can just close it. It's not really important. And here, we're gonna start our Emacs configuration. First thing we're gonna write is our title, because this is an org file. And just as a little explanation, an org file, org mode, is so it's a markdown, and but for Emacs, one of the greatest feature it has is this format called org mode, and it's so crazy. It's because it's integrated. It's one of the things that makes people move to Emacs. And we're gonna put our title. It's gonna be in my Emacs configuration. With the author, Benjamin Dunstan. And here we're gonna write all of our configuration for Emacs. One of the things we're gonna start with first, it's the zoom key binding, because yeah, we don't want to be writing the command to do zoom all the time. So because this is a literary config, how to say, in the configuration file itself, but we are in a sort of like a markup file, org file, which will take all of the source blocks just as markdown. We'll take all these source blocks and put them on the configuration file that we plan to, on the final configuration file. So in some way we can wrap all of our configuration in this file. So yeah, let me just copy all of this, put it here. What was the paste command? Well, just copy and paste, I guess. You guys know the paste command? No? Control Y? Oh, right, sorry. Nice. Yes. So yeah. Molds or own Emacs configurations, and because we use this code block, and we set it up. We set up a keybind. We gonna call keybind and put this GUI. Move it here. And one of the cool things about org mode is that we can fold. So in this way, setting up our own configuration, we can split it up in different sections. And Oh, we press tab. Yeah, tab in this case, cycle, which can help us, fold and unfold our Emacs configuration. Well, I'm sorry for my notes there because it's only one screen. Yeah. So yeah. Well, next thing we're gonna straight up going to set up the package manager and get all the packages that we need to make a nice configuration. And well, being an org file, just like Markdown, we get all these benefits, which are like writing text and inserting links, videos, code blocks. So yeah, if you see here on my notes, I have this like syntax, and which is the org syntax. Yeah. So well, in this case, we won't need to copy all the links. We can just make sure to copy the code blocks because that's what we need. Okay, we put the key bindings and we put this package manager, but it hasn't loaded. And for let's say like making changes to Emacs, we need to evaluate these files. To evaluate the files, we're gonna use a command load file. So yeah, I'm gonna write it down. It's a little small. We gonna do an MX or Alt X. Gonna do a load file because we are already on the folder of Emacs. It says config Emacs. Config. We're gonna go for init.el. File to Tango. Oh yeah. We haven't saved this file yet, and I wrote it here. Save buffer. Yes. To save a file, the default keybind is Control-X, Control-S. We'll save this file, and we can run the load file again. init.el. We'll try to contact ELPA, which is the Emacs list package archive, and that's where all of our packages and Emacs packages are stored. So yeah, this is always good. How to Tangle does not exist. Oh yeah, I think I forgot something important, which is set up the Tangle. I should have somewhere around here. Sorry for my notes. Tangle. Well, in any case, I can just go to my GitHub repositories. Forbidden picture. Yeah. I'm gonna go to the raw file. And yeah. That's weird. It should. Wait, maybe it is working. Oh yeah, it is. I'm sorry, guys. The configuration is working, and we have the keybind for the zoom. And this keybind, it's Control- and Control+. That help us, to manage better. So yeah, let's keep on with the configuration. Once we have the package manager, you will have to excuse me for using Beam, but I think it's a good way for people who already know Beam to get into the Emacs. I think like if you already know Beam, the Beam motion, the Beam key bindings, this can really help you be productive from the get-go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with installing the Evo package, which will let us use the Beam key bindings on Emacs, and it's really useful. I haven't. One of my projects in the future is to try the Emacs key bindings, but for now I'm pretty used to. I have the editor of the beast. I carry the pennant, and I just joke. So yeah, let's do another source. Let's do another code block for BI, the Beam key bindings. Yeah, this should set it up from the go. Let's just keep going with the. Yeah, maybe I could fold it. See this UI Evo. What else can we set up? We can set up. Well, this is a little bit of a bad advice, but if you want like a cleaner menu bar and the tab line and a lot of things that come with Emacs by default, and menu bar configuration, it should be bar. Yeah, you should replace it. You can be playing around with the UI, disable and enable things. And yeah, it's really cool. Emacs is this, it's an amazing program in which everything that you think of can be changed or edited in some way. And well, everything in the Emacs configuration is written in Emacs. Yeah, should be like this. Paste. Emacs Lisp and source. When I was starting the configuration, because there's you know, I write Emacs Lisp here. There's also eLisp, but it gives me some problems when writing the configuration. So I always prefer Emacs Lisp over eLisp as a name for the code blocks. Okay, so we already have some more configuration here. The comments are in Lisp, and Emacs Lisp are written with the dot comma. So yeah, if you are writing a code and want to comment it out, you can do that. Yeah. Sorry? Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Nice. So yeah, let's save, which should be Control S, Control X, Control S. I'm gonna do the and we're gonna do init.el, and it should contact the host. So let's keep going. We already set up. Now it's gonna be crazy. It's really crazy that the VI key bindings are work on Emacs. Yeah. And, file to tangle doesn't exist. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, well, as you can see, it gives some errors, but the configuration is working because we saw that the menu bar has disappeared, has changed to a more sort of like a more modern experience. Like can still keep editing more stuff, and the mode line, it's very useful, but I always like changing it for this the do mode line. Very looks very cool. Let me write. Can I write? Oh, yeah. Mode line. And with this mode line, the mode line is gonna, the mode line is this thing right here at the end. It's gonna help us whenever we are editing any type of text. It's gonna tell us important details about that text, about the language that we are working in, and yeah. So let's. The default mode line, it's very good, but I always already used to using the zoom. You can also display the battery on the mode line. It's a really cool thing. Why it's not working? Now that I'm using the VI typing controller, yeah, it's crazy. All the icons. And another cool package that I really want to install right now, it's one called org tempo. Whenever we write these code blocks, we have to type the entire begin source, Emacs list, and end source. And there's this really comfortable org package called org tempo, which will let us sort of abbreviate that command, that all these begin source that we have to write. Let me write it here. Let first. It's save. And let's do a load file. init.el. Yeah. Beacon cursor link. Let's see which other one. Which key? Let's go with beacon. I don't know if you can see a little bit, but the mode line has changed. Yeah, it has these small icons. It's not really noticeable on the video because it's kind of small, but yeah, when you're doing the config, it's more noticeable. We can use we can use a package like org superstar to change the, for example, these asterisks that we use on org mode to false and show our configuration. The UI to modify all the icons. Org superstar. Yeah. What's the name? Source. Or begin source. Source Emacs Lisp. And source. This gonna maybe change our experience. Yeah. we are also going to change, I think, the line truncation, because when we type, the line just keep going, and yeah, we can also change that. Okay, cool. So let's put file again. .el. Once you're building the literate config, you can play around with a lot of the org mode headers. For example, you have the GUI. We can do this one for key bindings, and yeah, you can move your data around and structure it the way you like. For example, in this case, I move a header from level 1 to level 2, and well, the top level will fold the bigger levels, the smaller levels, and you can keep doing this forever. It's quite incredible, like file shortcuts. And yeah, if you press Alt Alt and Enter while typing these or headers, you can create a new one. And yeah, that's really useful to just keep writing and don't lose the flow when modifying things. Yeah, I don't know. We can do these apps. Let's whole block. Have some of them here, so it's easier for us to modify the configuration after. Yeah, and I think I'll just go straight away to installing, making a new header for org, and in this one I'll have all the org packages, and I could put like source block here. I'll do another one called org tempo. So it's gonna be really good because yeah, at this point I could just go into my configuration. Yes, as I wrote some small description here, which says this will allow us to create the code block just by typing what's the it's called minus that. Yeah, let's just copy it here, that symbol, org tempo. And let's load the Emacs again. First write, then load file, init.el. At the end, init.el is just a pointer for the Emacs configuration for the config.org, which is the file we are currently working in. Well, this file, config.org, creates another file called config.el. And config.el is the file that Emacs reads for its configuration. Oh, sorry. Yeah, as we can see here, these three files, init.el, config.org, config.el. Because we are doing this literate config, and org mode is a format. We can do a symbolic link to the config.org, to a readme.org. So that way, when we start on a GitHub repo there, it's going to automatically show that as let's say the the documentation, the main sort of like page of our repo. Okay, let's load this file again and see if org tempo is working, because it's one of those packages that you get crazy if you don't have it. You need .el, yep, to be working. Okay, let's try it. So yeah, nice. In the sense that it's just these really small things that make you be faster with time. And first of all, because I'm using this from my GitHub configuration, let me just show you like my original main org file. This is how it looks on my this is my GitHub repo of my Emacs configuration. This is the table of contents, and well, it's kind of a mess because we have all these like code blocks. But I never worry about writing sort of like this documentation for my Emacs configuration, because that takes care of itself by doing this. And yeah, it's really cool. And this table of contents, maybe we could add it here to the org configuration. It's called TLC. We can, yeah. Where is it? Where is it? Config.org. Yeah. Local table of contents. Oh, this package. Let's copy it. Paste it here. Let's write it. Let's just keep adding packages, and I'll just tell you what they do while we just play around with it. Could even look like my own configuration. Yeah. Well, let's get into a little bit of note taking, because yeah, we already have in my case, so I'm comfortable with the key bindings and some of the org packages, the contents. Let's just generate one. Sorry. Load file needs.el. The way the table of content packages works, we write table of contents, and we have to add this little one here. And when we save, it should create us. Oh, it didn't. I will create it after. Yeah. Do you guys know the command to close windows? Should be like close windows to close this error window. Control. Sorry, I have an MX there. Control X1. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's what we need. Tab line, mode line. This could be good for the GUI. It's is that just your init file? Oh yeah, it's the config.org symlink to readme.org. Yeah. Yeah. It or the same as Markdown. You can specify images. Yeah, I could do that in a minute. Oh, inline images. I can repeat the question. Oh yeah. Let's pretend I didn't say it. Oh yeah, so sorry.
This file we're looking at, is this just the Emacs config.org but symlinked to readme.org on the GitHub page? And second question, can you show inline images that would appear in your file and on the GitHub repo? Thank you.
Well, the configuration that it's on GitHub, yeah, it's my main Emacs configuration, and yes, I think that answers my question, right? Okay. Sorry. Second question was if yes, so Emacs can show you can specify images just as Markdown. And it can also show them on org mode. I mean on GitHub. But yeah, let me show an image of. I don't know. Oh, sorry. like a dog. So the way to show an image on, just call it dog. The way to show an image on Emacs, on org mode especially, it's by referring to it like this. And I could maybe, let's move this image. On the same folder, because the org file will try to find the image on its own, on the folder that it's currently working in. So if it should work if I do this. So we first make the link, like this folder and the org, and then we can go to this command, which is called like org display inline images. Yeah, and this should work if this should work also in GitHub, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really tried. Have you guys tried like those using? It should. Yeah. Well, if you put images that are hosted on the net, you can also put links on images on the net. They will surely display on it. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, so it's a nice dog. We should put it on the front, on the config, or display inline images. Yeah, but you see that in this case, every time I move the image or I do something with the image, I have to run the command again, and that's why it to avoid this kind of like behavior, we can put a property. It's called a startup. We can just search it for these images. One of the cool things for the org files is that you can manage them with these sort of like tags, or like it's called org properties, and these org properties will tell Emacs what to show about this file. Like you can this one called startup, the org start, yeah, yes, startup. We can use org startup with inline images. I hope I'm doing this right. It should work, or it was like inline images. Oh, sorry, no, it's not this way. It's inline images. We have formatting. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of things we can configure. Okay, let's keep going on with the configuration. Yeah, so one of just let me find it first. Or from why? One of the most important packages that it's this one called org-roam, and what this package allows us to have our own like nodes database and manage it. Yeah, make like links to different nodes, which it's all org files. And be able to change between them, and move around them and things. So let's just copy this and use the Emacs template or sample. Another like a good tip that it's really good when you configure in Emacs is that I think the most important when creating these configurations, it's especially in Emacs Lisp, it's caring that all parentheses are, let's say, are closed. Like one of the most useful commands that we have on Emacs, right, is this command called check parents, which search on all the text for missing closing parentheses. We can write it here, check parents, and yeah. But whenever the configuration doesn't work, you always use this one on the config.el. Maybe I'll show it to you later. So we did file or Chrome, and we write init.el. I'm copying this one from my Control X1. I'm copying this from my configuration, so if everything works good, what's the name? Everything should be working good. I would find. Nice. Yeah. Let's just keep going with the configuration. Well, whenever you write commands, it's kind of hard. Like it's kind of small and kind of hard to see. Like they find sometimes which command you want to use. So one very useful package is called a which key, and this package will, that we see on the mode line on the this mini buffer here, will give us a small description of the command we are trying to find. And I have the configuration here. We want it to be always running which key, so we have more context on what command we want to run. See, key, we should, I think I'm gonna go back to my notes because I have some packages written here. Yeah, ligatures. Which key is already set up here?
Do you think it might be easier to copy more?
Yeah, well, at this point, do you guys remember that when we started the talk, I moved my original Emacs folder, changed the name, like backup Emacs. At this point, I think you guys already get the idea, you know, of just setting up packages, looking them on the GitHub. Yeah. So yeah, let's just jump to the configuration I currently have, and it's just yeah. It's crazy. I think you're like so. But still, I'm gonna save this and put it on the on one of my GitHub repos if someone wants to take a look after this one, because my configuration, it's really long. It's almost like 2,000 lines long, and that's like the configuration itself, like the org file. It's much longer. So I think I put it here. So I'm just gonna kill Emacs, And I'm gonna move the Emacs that I have to, oh no, to presentation Emacs. Move backup Emacs to Emacs. Okay. So now everything should be working. And I don't know if you guys can see, but the wallpaper should be visible a little bit. I have the transparency enabled, but it's still very bold. So let's go to the configuration. Maybe make a little bit more transparent. Bigger text, yeah. Well, about the mode line, here I also have a mode line, and you can, as we hide the tab bar and the tab bar and the scroll bar, we can also hide the mode line. But as I told you, it's a bad advice. I just do it because I mostly use Emacs for taking notes, and yeah. And but if you are planning to use mode, it's really important to use the mode line. It's very useful. Let me first find the transparency. Configuration got so big that I'm finding things with the search instead of like the yeah. Well, you can set up transparency. Is this alpha background? Yeah, and it's on 80. Let's put it maybe 60, or just a little bit. And I have all my Emacs configurations, all the commands that I run day to day. I have them all on keybinds. So I never really like run commands. I do run commands, but it's should be very specific commands that I run, because most of them has been I've ported to key bindings, especially the splits and windows. So we have we only see one buffer, one window. I have some key bindings for separating windows, and I use the super key change between the windows. You can do a vertical split. You can move around. So that's very useful when you edit in. Coming back to the note taking, the org-Chrome package, it's really useful because it allows us to have a lot of org files in one folder, and each org file will have this ID, which will be added to the node database. And let me close all this. So I now have a really small, how to say, like nodes database, but I can go to different files like this. Let's see, SSH, and yeah, usage tips. Days ago, I was doing I failed to do some backups, and I lost like a really big node database that I have. So now I'm writing everything again. So that's why it's kind of small. But you can see, for example, as I was telling you before, that well, in the org files we have this title property, which is the one that will appear on the small menu. And what makes a node or an org file appear in this small menu is this ID property, which can be generated with or ID get create. And what's cool is that in this case, you can create for a file, like as a property, but you can also create it on org headers. So you can not only link like files, but you can also link files, the headers inside files itself. So this one is a note about SSH, and I could say like SSH usage. And I will type this command, which is OID, get create. And it's here. I will save. I will reload the...
You are currently the only person in this conference.
Well, yeah, so I've seen configuration. Let's see, I can go to configuration. Low battery. Oh no, it still has a lot of battery. That's weird. Yeah, for example, my key bindings, all these are, to Emacs, to the Nix configuration. I have to my window manager too. That's called to ZSHRC. All these like shortcuts, I have them here. Oh, sorry. Or where did I have key bindings? Files, file shortcuts. Yeah. I see I have files, different to file shortcuts. So yeah. This is a package, if I'm not mistaken, it's called General, which Emacs, well, more than simplified, it's more gives it more context to the Emacs key bindings, and yeah, it has some integration with the Evo mode. Yeah, so on this one we see it says config files, and small. I first have the Emacs configuration. It will do a find file. It will open this config Emacs config.org. But I also have this key binding, which will do an automatic load file. So I don't have to be typing the load file command all the time and looking. I can just do a space HRR and it will. And yeah, it takes like maybe half a second. I have yeah, all of these. My dots, Nix, Flakes, Hyperland, Tmax left. Yeah. So while I use Vim to edit like small things in text, when you have really big configurations, Emacs is a must for me. Like especially the literate configs. Because it lets me have everything organized in a way I can not worry about it and not worry about adding stuff and removing stuff in the future. And yeah. And for example, let's say if I don't want, let's say I want to delete this entire, this entire key bindings, I can just delete the org header, and that will delete everything that is contained inside. So you can do stuff like that. Split windows. Another cool thing, besides the splitting the windows, is this package called Perspective. So you see, for example, in a window managers or desktop environments, you have different workspaces, like I'm doing, and on Emacs have sort of like something similar. I wouldn't say like the same thing, with a package called Perspective, which will create these sort of like workspaces for Emacs. And example you see there, it's kind of small. See, this has Perspective name. So I don't know, I could write notes and I don't know, open files like GitHub, SSH. Oh, it's the same file. I don't know, Emacs, core utils or something. Japanese stuff. So here I have 3 files open or 4 files. I could have, I don't know, like 10 files open, be editing a lot of different files with different windows. But with the Perspective package, I can different sort of like workspaces. So for example, that could be, all these open files could be in my notes, all my notes, but let's say on another workspace, I'm editing code or something. So I could go to, main, and in, let me close all this. Yeah, I don't have anything open here. Emacs, yeah. So for example, in this one, I have 3 files open. In the other one, I should have like 5. Right, so it's kind of, yeah. So yeah, let's see, it's crash. Oh, well. Yeah. Yeah, under note taking, well, another, just like the 2 most packages, like important and interesting package besides OrChrome, it's another one called OrChrome UI, which, because OrChrome make this SQLite database of the nodes you have, you can use that file to sort of like represent, see these nodes in a. So let's see, or from UI, you can set it up with this, and I'm not mistaken, UI open. For now, I have like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 nodes. Yeah, you can see here all the nodes and links that the nodes have between each other, and I think if you click on them, you can see the org file itself. So yeah, well, this is running, on the web browser. I think there's a way to put it on Emacs. I haven't tried, especially because Emacs not only has, how to say, like, it's not only so many things. It's crazy. It's sort of like an environment unto itself. Yeah, you can play around with nodes. You can start creating nodes, start creating literary configs. I could, in this literary config, add a org ID. Yes. Yeah, an org ID, and that will make it appear on the nodes database. But just be careful that, well, the nodes database, it all depends on the, let's call this. When you set up a package, you do these configurations, and for OrChrome, one of the configurations is this one, OrChrome directory, and this one is my home folder, sync, and notes. Everything that's there and has the org link will be in this database. If you create org links for files that are outside that folder, will not appear on this small menu that I used to find. Yeah, and just one of like the most like the last notes. There's OrChrome node y OrChrome space node insert. And what that will do, it's do this link. You saw that the image had this, link, which is was like / referencing to a file on the same folder. The way that you can link nodes in Emacs or Chrome, it's sort of like the same way, but instead of the path, it's gonna use the org ID that was created for that node. So in this case, it's that ID. So you saw that in this case, the image was created with 2 brackets, image.jpg. Yeah, but we can also, just as like Mark, we can also put a name for a link, this sort of like a description. But instead of closing with opening with 2 brackets and closing with 2 brackets, we use another bracket there, and this could be image of a dog. So yeah, that's what's happening here with the org link, with the OrChrome link to the node. So Yeah, I have that binded to a key bind, so I could see like I could like be writing, okay, for this computer. Oh yeah, just let me. For this computer, I connect, and I have that the node insert. I have it binded to a key, so I just write a space and I. If I connect it to SFTP, oh sorry, SFTP, and with my day, you know. Yeah, so it's really cool. I connect to SSH stuff, so you can be writing and introducing links, and all of that will appear on the browser on this. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna wrap for this. Oh, I did what I could.
Anyone have any questions? Your enthusiasm is certainly infectious, mate.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. Like I always thought like how I'm gonna present this to people, and it might not be the best way, but at least it's some good introduction for maybe those of you who haven't like played around with Emacs. Maybe just a little bit of the theory. It's not really complicated. I think NeoBeam, I found it more complicated configuring Emacs. Yeah, in my case.
And what was your GitHub async, was it?
Yeah, well, I don't. I have sort of like a kind of edgy profile picture. So yeah, well, you can just cut that from the presentation. So, but well, it doesn't really have a name. Well, but here I have uploaded, for example, my NixOS Flake configuration, because this is like one table. GitHub will take care of formatting all the org file things. So I'll have outputs, have the machine, I have like my laptop, and even the MacBook here. And you can put these links, like to more information, YouTube videos. Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's no questions, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much, Benjamin. Appreciate it.